The Australian Early Development Census, or AEDC, provides us with valuable insights into how children are developing. Across the past decade, the Jondaryan community, which consists of Oakey and surrounds, have worked to provide connection, services and support to families to improve outcomes for all children in the community. In this video, Oakey community members share their story.
Oakey's a small and fairly tight community. It's a little bit of transient nature to it, with some families moving in and out. We've got people who are working in the meatworks, some in associated industries around that, and some in the mining industry as well.
It also a few military personnel, and you get that sense it's a very proud town, very tight-knit and just very proud of their traditions and their history.
In Oakey, a lot of the times, your state schools and your Catholic schools and other schooling sectors don't spend a lot of time communicating with each other. But I remember talking with Luke not long after he arrived in Oakey and made it very clear that my intention was I wanted to see us work together for the good of the kids. I think that that's been one of the strong things, is the fact that we've worked together with the early childhood providers in the area with the sole goal of doing what's best for the children rather than what's best for the individual centres or schools.
It's not just about picking the right school for your child, but it's all centres, kindies, early childhood providers working together. So, yeah, this is the best spot for you. We can support here. They can support there.
I think we made assumptions as to where our kids came from, and the AEDC data, when we really started to dig into it, broke some of our assumptions of what we thought of this community and showed us that we hadn't really taken into account what was truly affecting these children. And once we got things like the support around parents for the health and well-being of their students, the results started to improve drastically. So instead of sitting back and making our own personal judgments, we actually used that data to really open our eyes to the whole story. And I don't think previously we were dealing with the full story. So with the AEDC data, what we look at in that is strengths and vulnerabilities in there. And then by working with the daycare providers, working with healthcare providers, local libraries and other groups as well, seeing how we can support the parents in those areas to help we give their kids their best start in life.
Our Oakey Library has some great relationships with the community. It has forged over a number of years the relationships with Oakey State School, also with St Monica's Catholic School, also with the youth groups and play groups, childcare centres and things like that. Over time, I've seen the library be a positive influencer, I'd say, in this community. I'll come and work in the library and you can see the children feel safe, feel welcomed, feel they belong here. This is part of their space, and it's a positive part of their life. One strategy is with the story time sessions that we have every week is that a big important part of that is we include our family messaging or parent messaging, where we just sort of include in the storytelling different tips and tools and information that helps parents understand why we're doing what we're doing, and it equips them to continue this process at home. My vision for the future of this community would be to see all children starting school with a real sense of self-esteem, with the basics, with the opportunity to thrive and flourish and be all they can be in this community, because I think that will have such a positive effect within families and the future of the communities.
I think Oakey is probably one of the biggest community-driven places I've ever had to work in. Gundia Health Service is an Aboriginal medical service that's been in Oakey for around about 5 years now. Gundia's main role is around primary healthcare and giving our patients the best possible healthcare that we can possibly give. So we have visiting exercise physiologists, physios, speech therapists, psychologists, a lot around mental health as well, because that's such a huge area that we find not just for ageing community but for our youth as well. I think it's so important that there is so many services out there that we're all on the same page and we're working for a greater good for community. My vision is that I see our young people in positions that we are in now and to take over. They're the next generation, they're our leaders. I would love to see a young, male or female, come in here and be the clinic manager, and that's come from here and knows what is needed.
I think probably the real change has been that we have genuine collaborative and reciprocal relationships now, be they between the schools or between the schools and the centres and the healthcare providers and the local council. They are truly reciprocal relationships that's benefiting the children, where it's not fed by self-interest, it's really fed by what's best for the children.
I think the resilience is probably increased, and also the access to early literacy skills. And then parents are aware of what they need to do as well in supporting the community and supporting the kids. Find out your school down the road or in the area as well, and then tap into those kindies and find out what they want to know, and go from there. And then really start working on establishing those connections with your key stakeholders in the community, your library, your council reps, all those health providers.
I'd really encourage other schools to consider the way they're doing things. We don't have to keep doing things just because that's the way we've always done it. Be prepared to try something different, be prepared to put the kids first, and be prepared to acknowledge the fact that the community are experts on their own children and we need to work with them.